Hey everybody, this is Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And it's us with just the zoo of us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we take your favorite species of animals, and we review them by giving them ratings out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, though we try our best to find the facts to present to you.
We're not getting our information from totally true animal stuff.biz. No fake news here. I believe that this week it is your turn to go first, Christian.
All right.
I'm really excited to hear about your animal this week. I already know what it is, but I think it's going to be great anyway.
One of these weeks, I'm just going to switch it on you.
No! Chaotic energy that you're bringing into the studio.
This week, I bring the Atlantic Mudskipper.
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
I love these weird little guys.
They are a little weird. It's a scientific name, Periophthalmus barbarus. So Mudskipper in general was submitted by Catherine via email. Mudskipper can refer to any of the living 32 species in the Oxydercinae subfamily. So I just found one species and went with it.
Okay.
I'm getting my information from the IUCN Red List, found at iucnredlist.org, as well as the website for Zoo Leipzig, found at zoo-leipzig.de.
Okay, this is in Germany.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, okay.
So I just happened to find this zoo in Germany, which is an interesting coincidence because the requester is in Germany. And also this zoo looks really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. They've got really cool things like okapi, capybara, maned wolf, snow leopards, and a Chinese pangolin.
We've talked about almost all of those animals.
That's why I picked all those.
Not the pangolin yet, but it's coming. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just a little sampling. It's a really cool zoo, it looks like.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So if we ever find ourselves across the pond, check it out.
Definitely, for sure. We'll have to add it to the list of stops we make when we do a tour of Europe, hitting up all the zoos that we could find.
Seems cool.
Maybe we'll do live shows in Europe
nice.
When we're famous and touring internationally.
Also, thankfully, this website has a English version. So
thank goodness.
It's not like I'm having to rely on Google Translate or anything.
They came through for you there.
I don't know a word of German, so I had to look up how to pronounce this zoo's name.
I'm so appreciative that you looked it up.
So, getting down into the meat of it, the adult size of these little guys are up to 16 centimeters long, or about 6 inches. They are fish. They're pretty slender. They've got these dorsal fins on their back that are usually folded down, but they'll sometimes be flared up, and I'll talk about when they do that a little bit later.
And by the dorsal fin, you mean the fin that's like along their back?
Yes. They have a very big mouth. It's very wide. They have these two eyes that are very close to each other, perched on the top of their head.
This is the goofiest looking thing. Because it's a goby, right?
Yeah.
It's a type of goby.
Sort of. There's a lot of stuff going on there taxonomically. I'm not going to dig into it.
Okay. Well, a lot of gobies have this kind of look where they have the eyes way up top on the head, and it makes them look really kind of cartoonish.
Yeah. And also their pectoral fins, so like I guess what would be analogous to arms to us, are more underneath them than off to the side like you see in a lot of fish.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're angled weird and they look kind of muscular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about pectorals.
Yeah. And where you can find the Atlantic mudskipper are in coastal brackish waters. So brackish meaning a mix of fresh and salt water. So you usually find these where a river and an ocean meet, that kind of thing. So you'll find them in coastal brackish waters with mudflats, like mangrove swamps. And you'll find these along the West African coast, from Senegal to Angola. Also the islands of the Gulf of Guinea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that Atlantic coast.
Yes.
We're on an Atlantic coast, just the other one.
Right. Taxonomically, just a little bit. I mentioned this earlier. They belong to the family Oxydercidae. That's like I mentioned. There's lots of other mudskippers.
Okay. There's also lots of gobies.
Yes.
Lots and lots and lots of gobies. So you'll see often people that have like saltwater fish tanks will have gobies in there. Some of the gobies can be really bright and colorful, which is really neat. Like you can see them swimming around in the corals and stuff. Gobies are beautiful. And a while back, actually, I had a guest on who talked about, they're called Oophounopili. It is a goby that climbs waterfalls in Hawaii.
Oh.
Very cool goby. They use how you were talking about how their pectoral fins are situated below them?
Yeah.
In these gobies, those pectoral fins have adapted into a suction cup.
Oh, okay.
And they suction themselves to the bottoms of waterfalls and they kind of jump up these waterfalls.
So it's not like a martial arts training movie where they're just climbing up rocks with their little fish fingers.
I mean, it is in some ways kind of like a martial arts movie training montage, because they have to fight against the rushing current and it's just a little fish.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that because during that conversation, I had asked her if they were related to mudskippers. And yeah, the mudskippers are also gobies. So kind of similar,
Yeah, yeah. So kind of getting into our first category of effectiveness, this is a measure of how good they are with physical attributes that help them do what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I'm giving the Atlantic mudskipper an 8 out of 10.
That's decent.
Yeah. So here's the biggest thing about them. They're amphibious, meaning they live in the water and out of the water, not that they are amphibians. They are not, they're fish.
Best of both worlds.
Now, kind of going back to what I said, where you can find them, in these areas of mud flats, that's where you'll find them, just crawling around these moist mud flats.
Not a care in the world. Just taking a leisurely stroll.
Yeah, which maybe, that's a spoiler, because not amphibious in this case also means that they can move above the water.
Right. They're not just sitting ducks up there.
Yeah. So first thing I want to talk about is the breathing out of water.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is I think there's a common idea that fish just can't breathe at all outside of water.
Most can't. And that has to do with how most fish, their respiratory system is based on gills that absorb oxygen from the water around them. And those gills can't normally do anything out of water. Kind of same with these guys, but they have gill chambers that can store water. Yep.
What? Keep it in their pocket for later.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have these chambers around their gills that they'll hold water, still pulling oxygen out of that water while they're above or while they're away from the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Store some excess water. Keep it for later. That's very smart.
And mudskippers in general, I'm not too sure if it's specific to this one or not, but they may be able to get oxygen from the air through their skin, like some amphibians do.
All right. Yeah, I know that frogs and salamanders breathe like this through this membrane in their skin. That's why they need to stay wet all the time, right? Why most frogs and salamanders have to be around some degree of moisture.
Yeah. So these guys are in wet mud plains.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not totally dry.
No, it's wet mud. So this is usually areas that are mud and low tides. So speaking of the absorbing oxygen through the skin, one of the things they have to help with that is a layer of mucus to retain moisture in their skin.
Gross.
Yeah.
They're all snotty and slimy.
Now, here's what's interesting. They actually prefer to be out of the water.
Do they really?
Yeah. Because the adaptations that let them move on land makes them poor swimmers.
Oh. You have flown too close to the sun. They've tragically followed in the footsteps of Tiktaalik.
Right.
And they will grow to regret that decision.
So with their mobility on land, like we kind of hinted at, is they use their pectoral fins to just kind of crawl along the ground. Yeah. They also do this thing where they can hop. They can hop a foot or so into the air.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's twice as long as their length, That's some air that they can get.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And last thing for effectiveness, I want to talk about their eye placement. I couldn't find any details to confirm this or not, but my assumption is that placement implies a wide degree of vision with little, if any, binocular vision.
Okay, we've had some animals like this before.
And their position is sit above the water when most of the body is going to be underwater or mud or something.
Yeah, you just get a little peek up the top so you can look around and see what's coming at you.
Yeah.
There's an old adage about judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this one's maybe kind of skirting that a little bit. This is a little bit of a loophole. This fish probably could climb a tree.
Well, I've read things here and there that, especially ones that you find in mangrove swamps, you might see them kind of crawling up the roots of a mangrove tree.
That's so cool. I love that. Mangrove environments are absolutely off the chain. They're so cool. There's always something cool going on in a mangrove.
for sure.
Especially fish climbing up trees. Anything's possible.
So moving on to our second category of ingenuity. So these are things that they do that are smart. Could be hunting methods, could be tool use, that sort of thing. Couldn't find much. I'm just going to give them a 6 out of 10. They hunt out of water for insects, worms, and small crustaceans.
Okay.
So on these mud flats, they're looking for things to eat.
Now, I will say this. If you're hunting insects and you have come out of the water to hunt the insects, you have put yourself in the insects arena, right? Like you have given yourself a 2-dimensional hunting surface while the insects are flying around in a 3-dimensional evasion space.
Yeah. I don't think it's limited to flying insects, but yeah.
That was just my thought. Maybe have given the insects a little bit of an advantage, but also maybe, crustaceans could scuttle away pretty quick. So I don't know. When I'm imagining a mudskipper, I'm not imagining something that's really booking it, Yeah. I feel like they're not very fast.
It's small things, and they're also digging through the mud to find things.
Oh, okay.
So they actually build burrows.
Do they really?
Yeah, they build burrows in these little mud plains with their mouths.
No.
Yeah. So there's a video on BBC Earth where you can see mudskippers. These are mudskippers in Japan, so different species, but very similar. So in there you can see their courtship dances.
Is it adorable?
Yeah, so this is when they flare out their dorsal fins. And also, this is when they try to jump up in the air. Because the idea is if the higher you jump, the more likely you'd be noticed by a potential mate.
Oh, they're having a little contest. Yeah. That's so in the spirit of the Olympics right now.
The males fight by opening their mouths really wide at each other, which you've probably seen videos of this too.
Yeah.
Especially set to yelling sounds.
It does. That's what it looks like. Yeah. It does look like they're like screaming at each other, which is really funny because they're not otherwise doing much else. They're just kind of like gaping at each other.
Yep. And then they'll spawn in those burrows I was talking about. And in the video from BBC Earth, they were talking about how these tunnels or these burrows, they have to dig out every day because they get filled in when the tide comes back in. Mm-hmm. And you see these little mudskippers with just kind of crawling out of the hole and bleh, and then just a cylinder of mud exits their mouth.
Ew! That's so nasty.
A little bit, yeah.
These are such gross little guys. Wallowing around in the mud all day long. Yeah. I love that for them.
And moving on to our final category of aesthetics. Pretty self-explanatory. How pretty and cute they are.
Very, very interested to hear what you gave them for aesthetics.
I'm going to say 6 out of 10.
Yeah. That's about the best they could hope for, right?
So one of their top things I find interesting are their pattern designs. So for this species, these are like white spots along the side. Other ones have more colorful kind of patterns and spots. And I think they have oddly angled pectoral fins. They're very leg-like.
Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with the eyes being so close together, because that's like a feature that humans, like primates, associate with other primates, right? Mm-hmm. Like the eyes being kind of close together. It puts it a little bit in that uncanny valley sort of almost like, you're not fish enough to be a fish.
Yeah, it's weird. But I find their dorsal fins to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, this is something they share in common with those waterfall climbing gobies I was talking about. Is that they it's like a little flag that they raise up on their back, and it's like a little signal, like "Hello, it's me. I'm here, ready to mate."
And then just a little miscellaneous information. This species' conservation status is of least concern.
Okay.
They have a wide distribution and no known widespread threats. They are harvested in subsistence fisheries, and they have value as an aquarium fish.
Oh, mudskippers are.
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine like how you would set up a place like a habitat for a mudskipper, Like how are you going to keep mud?
Maybe it's the kind of thing where they can be in a like underwater environment, but they just don't prefer it. I don't know.
They're not that cute. You can find cuter gobies.
I've seen similar fish, the kind that are like burrowing in the sand. You'll see videos of them burrowing and they're spit sand in each other's burrow.
Those are also gobies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are just different types of gobies. Yeah. There are cuter fish. Get cuter fish. Get cuter ones.
I have no opinion. I don't want to keep fish.
Now, I have heard it said that based on just the name, Mudkip, the Pokemon, is partially based on mudskippers. Based on, the name being Mudkip, and also the fact that its later evolutions, Marshtomp and Swampert, have like water and ground typing.
Yeah.
That's like inspired by the Mudskipper.
I can see that, especially with Mudkip's little forehead fin,
Yeah, I see that too.
I guess the combination of that and their tail looks a lot like the kind of 2 dorsal fins on the Mudskipper. Though it is at least partially based on axolotls as well.
Okay, so it's called the Mudfish Pokemon in the Pokedex.
Okay.
Which makes you think Mudskipper.
I suppose.
Mudkip, Mudskipper.
Sure.
But yeah, it looks more like an axolotl or like any kind of... It looks like any sort of larval salamander, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fin on top and the fin on the back does make it look more like a fish, like a goby. And plus with the ground type evolutions, you can see it. A lot of times Pokemon are kind of these like hodgepodges of like they take a bunch of features from a bunch of different animals and all throw them together. So Mudskipper is definitely in there. And we have talked about axolotls too. So I think we've like completely covered Mudkip.
Perfect.
On this podcast.
Accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's the Atlantic Mudskipper.
That's a great animal. What a charming little guy. Although I will say, for a fish, it seems a bold move to decide, I'm going to make myself bad at swimming in order to let myself be also bad at walking. Like, sure, you get access to the land, but you're also bad at that, and now you're just bad at 2 things.
Well, some people have looked at mudskippers as a way to learn a little bit more about the first animals that came out of the ocean and onto land. Because they think it might have been a similar path there in terms of how they transitioned.
They have failed to learn from our mistakes.
Go back.
That's docked from ingenuity, because they could have just come out of the water a little bit and looked around and be like, no. Actually, no. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, before we move on, I'd like to take a quick second to thank our patrons over on Patreon who keep the show going. This week I would like to say thank you to Jacob Schick, April Kamik, Bren Everfolly, Sarah Peterson, Sophie Ann Nasser, Vikram Baliga, Dalton Weeks, Julie Gilson, Christina Sanders, Paul Chomo, Randall Beeman, and the Mad Scientist podcast. Thank you all so much for your support.
What animal do you have for us this week, Ellen?
Oh, you don't know what it is, like, at all, do you?
I don't think so.
Ooh, this is fun.
Or if I did, I forgot. An
actual surprise. Okay, well, I'm so glad you never listened to me.
Oh.
This week, I'm talking about the Hoatzin. Do you know what a Hoatzin is?
It sounds like a guy.
It's just Watson. He's just, he's just sitting there. I'll give you the scientific name, and you see if you can guess what it is.
Okay.
Opisthocomus Hoatzin.
It's a fish.
That's a great guess, but no, it's not even close.
Aw.
I'll give you another nickname for it that will tell you what it is.
Okay.
The stink bird.
What?
The stink bird.
The stink bird.
The stink bird,
oh,
yeah.
Boy. All right.
This species was requested by Jacob Schick. Thank you, Jacob. And I'm getting my information from an article from audubon.org in 2015. It is titled The Hoatzin Misfit Belcher Genetic Mystery by Elizabeth Dietrich, and also from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. They have lots of good information. Okay, so if you've never seen a Hoatzin before, which it sounds to me like you haven't, they're not huge. They're about 2 feet long. They have kind of a longish neck, not as long as maybe like our wading birds that we have around here, but it's kind of long. They have a tiny little head. Their head is really little with a short little beak that looks kind of like a chicken almost.
Okay.
It looks like a chicken. And then, but on top of their head, little tiny head, is this crest of these long, bright orange feathers that kind of like swoop upwards. It looks kind of like maybe like a punk mohawk sort of thing. It's really cool. Some people call them like a punk rock bird. I think they look like an anime protagonist. That's what it looks like to me. They have like the swoopy kind of like bright orange hairstyle. It's pretty cool. So most of the feathers on their body are like this sort of reddish orange color or black. And along their neck, they have these like bright white stripes, which is really, really cool looking. And then their face, around like their eyes and beak, is bald blue skin, like a cassowary. Have you ever seen like a cassowary's head? It's got that kind of like featherless blue skin on the face. Yeah, very weird looking bird. You're going to find these in swamps and wet forests in the northern part of South America. So around the Amazon and Orinoco rivers. Specifically, they really like to live really, really close to water. So you'll find them like along rivers and streams and stuff. You usually will not find them far away from water. They really like to be in the water. Now, their taxonomic family is a whole thing. It's a long road. The Hoatzin is the only living species in the Opisthocomidae family. Their family split off from the rest of the bird families, likely around 65 million years ago, which was right around the time of the mass extinction that wiped out like half of life on Earth. Okay. So like dinosaurs, stuff like that. Birds are dinosaurs. All of the birds that exist right now all came from dinosaurs, even if at the time they were terrestrial, land-dwelling dinosaurs like velociraptors and stuff like that. They are now birds. The Hoatzin is just kind of a really, like, just about as clear of a reminder as you can get that birds are dinosaurs, because it's just, they split off from pretty much all the other birds, just way back in dinosaur times. So they've been living their own life. They've been doing their own thing this whole time. So very, very cool. They don't like have any other sort of bird, even though they kind of look like chickens, and they share some features with other birds like turacos, which are these like South American little birds. They share some features with other birds, but they're just their own thing.
Cool.
Yeah. And that has been kind of like a big point of contention. People have been trying to figure out what these dudes are since they've even known about them, right? Like total mystery. Right now it's looking like they're just their own thing. They're just a special, unique little bird.
Nice.
So my ratings for the Hoatzin, which that's how I'm pronouncing it. That is spelled, by the way, Hoatzin. I've heard it pronounced Hoatzin. I've heard it pronounced Hoatzin.
Do you know what language it's from?
Yeah, it comes from the Nahuatl language, the language spoken by people that lived there.
Okay.
I don't speak that language, but I went on Merriam-Webster and I listened to how they pronounce it on that website, and I'm going to go with Hoatzin. So for effectiveness for this bird, I give them a 7 out of 10, which is not my highest rating I've ever given an animal. They have made some very interesting adaptational choices. So one of the most interesting features about the Hoatzin is something that it has on its wings. It has claws on its wings. Long, sharp, finger-like claws on its wings. This is really like a leftover from its days as a terrestrial dinosaur.
Yeah, because you can kind of, I don't know, you see dinosaurs depicted with this, especially like pterodactyls and stuff that aren't dinosaurs, but,
Yeah, I would think of it more as like a velociraptor. How you would see like their sort of little claw hands, Yeah. Or if you think of like how a bat's wing is analogous to like a human hand, you can see where like the elbow and wrist joints are. So if you think about that, that will help you kind of think of where the claws would be on Hoatzin's wings. Okay. They're kind of on that like edge, and you can see it's really pronounced in the babies. So when they're a little baby, they're mostly like downy and fluffy, but you can see they have these long, sharp claws on their wings. Mm-hmm. And then as they get older, the claws kind of like fade away. And by the time they're an adult, you really can't tell that they have these claws at all. They're like barely even there as an adult. They basically have a normal wing when they're an adult. But so it's really interesting that they still have this when they're really, really young, because the chicks, when they fall out of the nest, they use the claws to climb back up.
Aww.
Isn't that clever? Yeah. They keep their claws so that they can get back up when they fall out of the nest if they're not ready to fly yet.
Instead of, I guess I'm dead now.
Right. They can just get back up. It's okay. They're fine. And this is really cool because since the Hoatzins like to nest over water, they like to nest like in branches that are like dangling over the river and stuff. Mm-hmm. If the baby falls out of the nest, they can swim to the shore or just like use their claws to grab like a low-lying branch. And they can get right back up there, get back home to mom. This is a good idea, right?
Sure. I mean, they gotta be quick.
That's true.
A lot of waterborne animals that would pounce on that.
There's so many things. There's so many things that they have to worry about. But, I mean, that's a pretty good tool on their belt to be able to get back up to the nest. when you're a little baby, life's rough out there. It's dangerous. So if anything you can do to maximize your chances of making it to adulthood is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So something else that's interesting about Hoatzins is that they are strictly vegetarian. They only eat plant matter.
Wow.
Yeah, they mostly eat like grasses and leaves and stuff, but they also will sometimes eat fruits or flowers. Kind of unusual for a bird. Most birds will also eat like bugs or, if they do eat plant matter, that's usually not like most of what they eat. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they mostly eat plants. Sometimes they'll, accidentally get some bugs here and there, but that's really not an intentional.
Who doesn't?
We all do. Yeah, so what's unusual about the Hoatzin is that their digestive system works kind of like a cow's.
Oh.
Yeah. So both cows and also some other like strictly herbivore animals like sloths, stuff like that, their stomachs digest their food using a process of bacterial fermentation. So their stomachs are fermenting the food inside with a culture of bacteria. So that's what's going on inside the Hoatzin's belly, which is the only bird that does this. So this all is happening inside of their gut to break down that plant material, since they eat so much plant material. And this has two really important impacts on the Hoatzin that have factored heavily into their effectiveness.
All right.
The first of all is that the fermentation of plant matter that's happening inside of their belly makes them smell absolutely terrible.
Oh, stink bird.
Stink bird. This is where the stink bird comes in. They smell rank. They just absolutely smell disgusting. It apparently smells like cow manure. I imagine probably because of the similar chemical processes.
Yeah.
So they smell just terrible, which obviously doesn't bother the bird. It's not hindering the bird in any way. But what is helpful about this stink to the bird is that humans cannot stand this smell.
Oh.
So humans do not hunt this bird for food unless they're like absolutely completely desperate. They're not on the menu. And also people do not like to keep them in captivity because of how bad they smell.
Yeah.
So, those are two big, reasons that humans can sometimes be a threat to an animal is for, hunting them for food or keeping them for the pet trade. And the Hoatzin has their bases covered. They have made themselves absolutely unpalatable to the human, which is unintentional, but gosh, that's a good strategy.
Yeah. It's kind of right there in the window of, make yourself not wanting to be seen or interacted with by humans at all, but not bad enough to where they will purposely eradicate you.
Right. They're not going to be like perceived as a threat, right? In such a way where they're going to be like, oh, I got to go out and kill them. It's like, it's not, it's really that sweet spot for them, that people don't really typically want very much to do with them at all because they smell so horrible. Yeah. So the other thing that this like bacterial fermentation process has on the Hoatzin is that since they don't have that specialized like chambered stomach like a cow does, how a cow has like a different chamber where the fermentation happens and there's like a different part of the stomach where the food is stored, all that stuff. So the Hoatzin doesn't have that same kind of specialized stomach. So instead, their digestive system is sort of like customized. It's like moved around a little bit where their foregut, where the food is stored and fermentation really takes place, that part of their digestive tract is just swollen. It is just grossly enlarged. So that part of their foregut is just huge.
Yeah.
So since it's so much bigger than most other birds, that doesn't leave a lot of space for other stuff, mainly flight muscles. Flight muscles are super important for a bird that flies, and this is a bird that flies. They're an arboreal bird. They live their whole lives in the treetops, and they fly around, and they're so bad at it. They're like notoriously really bad at flying. They have a reputation for being just extremely clumsy, and they're like constantly falling out of trees, and they can fly, but they only fly for like really short distances, and they really seem to hate it. Like they really seem like they prefer not to fly at all.
See, if they just double down, they'll achieve flight that's like a hot air balloon.
I don't know how much harder they would have to go on the fermentation for that. Just turn themselves into a little balloon floating around. But yeah, they're really bad at flying, which as a bird seems like the one thing you've like really spec'd into. So it seems so counterproductive to me.
I bet. To
spend all those millions of years evolving to fly and then be like, no, I actually just want to digest leaf.
I want to eat grass. I bet they're super buoyant in water.
They have to get back to their nest, right? So that probably helps them. That goes back to the sloth. When we talked about the sloth, that they had that same gas buildup from fermenting.
Fart boat, yes.
Yes, the fart boat, which I've since learned that sloths cannot fart. They can't out of their butt. What happens is they build up methane inside their body and they actually release that methane through their breath. So it's like a burp fart, but it's not really a burp because it's not like the gas is like escaping in a bubble. They just breathe it out.
Oh, okay. Like they're breathing out.
So they're just farting all the time forever through their mouth.
Okay.
So you're welcome for that. Yeah, so I just feel like the, flight seems like it was clearly an afterthought for this bird. Very off-brand for an arboreal bird. Strange choice. Really think they should have leaned harder into the whole flight thing. But listen, at least they smell bad.
To us, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if they smell bad to other stuff. They have predators, right? So they must not smell that bad to deter all predators because things will eat them. Just interesting trade-offs, some very perplexing choices that evolution has made for this bird. Next category is ingenuity. I give them an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
They are clumsy, but they seem like they have a lot going on socially. So they're very, very social. They like to stick together in these big groups. They like to be in flocks of 20 to 30 birds, all nesting together, in a tree. So if they see a predator, they all just absolutely lose their minds. So they freak out. They flap their wings. They squawk and screech and just make tons and tons of noise in order to sort of startle or confuse the predator. And then while they're doing all this, the babies jump out of the nest.
What?
The babies just book it. They're out of there. So the chicks flee because they know they can get back up with their claws. It's a very interesting behavior that they'll be they basically just sound the alarm and just all set off sirens basically.
Bombs away.
Yeah. And the kids just book it and get out of there. Which, they know, right? They know they can just get back up. It's okay.
What if it was something that's just on the ground though?
Oh no, you've played directly into their hand. Well, we've talked about how lemurs have different calls for different animals in different parts of the forest.
Yeah.
So lemurs will have a call for, oh no, there's a hawk versus, oh no, there's a fusa in the trees versus, oh no, there's something scary on the ground. I don't know, maybe they have a vocalization that differentiates between what type of threat they're looking for. That's not unprecedented. But they do have a lot of vocalizations that they use to communicate with each other. They're known for being very, what did you call me? Spirited? What was the word you used to describe me?
I've never.
Oh my, it's on the recording. It's on the recording. You did. They're known for being spirited. They're very expressive. They like to communicate verbally with each other. So they have lots of different sounds that they make. They squawk and screech and grunt and hiss and make all sorts of wild sounds at each other. And I listened to some recordings of it. It's kind of funny. They're very weird sounding birds, but I feel like listening to them sounds it feels like watching Jurassic Park.
I guess.
It feels like what dinosaurs must have sounded like. It's really cool. But yeah, I feel like I am this bird. A lot of times people talk about what animal they really strongly relate to, what animal they feel like is this is me as an animal. The Hoatzin's got to be it for me.
What?
They're loud, they're expressive, they're physically inept. This is just I see so much of myself in this bird. Well, you worked out with me the other day, so you're you get it.
You're way better than this bird.
Okay.
Tens across the board.
Okay, thanks. Speaking of which, the last category is aesthetics. I give the Hoatzin also a 6 out of 10, which may be a controversial take. A lot of people find this bird really, really beautiful, and I wish I could feel that. I wish I could share that opinion with the Hoatzin stands. Interesting? Yes, absolutely. But beautiful? No. It's not a beautiful bird. It looks like a try-hard chicken, I think.
Should do a study of opinions on aesthetics before and after knowing about the stink.
Yeah, I didn't factor the stink into it because I haven't smelled it personally.
Sure.
So, like, I can't assess to what degree the smell changes the way I feel about the bird. It probably would. It's supposed to smell like cow manure. So just imagine that when you see this bird.
And if they want to like be in flocks all the time, it's a compounding issue.
Yeah, then there's just a ton of them, and then you just get a really smelly tree.
Ugh, a noisy, smelly neighbor.
A loud, smelly tree. Yeah, so it's an interesting little guy. This was rude. eBird.com describes them as, quote, dumpy. Can you believe that? They put that on the website. They described this bird as dumpy in like the bird guide.
I mean, someone had already began dunking on this bird. Stink bird.
Stink bird. The dumpy stink bird. The Hoatzin. They didn't deserve that. Listen, it's a good bird. And just to wrap things up for the Hoatzin, their conservation status is of least concern. They have a very wide range. They're found in lots and lots of different places. They're also, like I said, they're not hunted. They're not kept as pets typically. Right. I'm sure somebody out there has one as a pet, and thoughts and prayers are with whoever has a Hoatzin as a pet out there. Rest in peace to your security deposit.
If you put its enclosure outside your front door, you pretty much guarantee no solicitors.
That's true. That's true. But you'd have to have like 30 of them.
I don't know how potent a single one is smell-wise.
Well, but if you have like 30 of them, then you've got like a home security system right there. Your house smells terrible and it's very loud. So like nobody's going to come burglarize you. I'm just saying. That would probably be a good idea. No, don't do that. Don't keep Hoatzins as pets.
Don't do it.
So yeah, that's the Hoatzin.
Thank you, baby.
Of course. Thank you. Well, that is everything that we had for this week. Thank you so much to everybody who's been listening. And thank you to everybody who's been leaving us nice reviews on like iTunes and Podchaser and stuff like that. That's really nice. That really makes our day. So please keep doing that. It's very, very kind of you. You can also come hang out with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search the title of the show and you will find us. If you have an animal you would like us to review on the show, get those to me via email at ellen@justthezooofus.com. You are more than welcome to send them to me on social media. I'm just letting you know right now. Email is a lot easier for me to organize. So if you email it to me, the chances are much higher that it will actually be done on the show. Also, I will say, if you email me with a request that's not a mammal, the chances are probably going to be higher because we like to talk about like lots of different types of animals, not just mammals, even though I get it. I love mammals. Mammals are great. I love talking about them. They're fun. They're charismatic. Everybody loves a good mammal. But I like to talk about non-mammal animals too, to reflect biodiversity, and most people request mammals. So if you request something that's like, ooh, give me a reptile, an amphibian, something like that, that's probably gonna get through to the show.
Yeah.
Just a little pro tip for getting your little shout out on Just the Zoo of Us. And finally, thank you, Louis Zong, for allowing us to use the song Adventuring off of the album B-Sides. It really nails it.
Sure does.
Drives it home, just like it's about to right now. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
And thank you, Christian.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.